Okay, so what I'm going to do, we've taken some time to look at what the various widgets are, and now I'd like to show you really how easy it is. We're really not going to make a book here. This is and this is not intended to teach you how to make a book, but it's more for you to sort of look at this and say, wait a minute, this is really easy, and it is, because it's clearly about the content. That's the challenging part. Making the book is quite simple. So I'm going to open up iBooks Author here. I'm going to close this, and I'm going to go to New from Template Chooser. And basically what iBooks provides you with is a number of templates. Some of them are in landscape mode, though they can alternate between landscape and portrait. Others are portrait only. Some of them have kind of a look or a feel to them. Some have kind of an old-timey thing. Some are kind of designed for, say, photograph, a book that has lots of photographs, and so forth and so on. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to choose this basic book to start with here, and this is Landscape with Portrait. I might add that unless you have something that's largely text only, you're better to do it either as landscape or as portrait, because trying to do both, the layout gets a little hinky.
Peter, is iBooks Author really available for download?
Yes, iBooks Author is a free app.
From the Apple Store?
From the Apple Store, yeah.
So it runs on laptop, desktop?
It runs on laptop or desktop. It does not run on an iPad. Okay. There are some other apps that are good for making books on iPads. There's Book Creator, but then that means you're typing on an iPad, which doesn't sound like much fun to me. So in this particular case, there's a template chapter here. You'll see that there's a spot for my book title. If I want to add some intro media, like if I want the book to open up with a video, here's the chapter. I'm going to type in something here, type in here, and that's now the title of my chapter 1. And I've got the lorem ipsum spot here, the placeholder. So I've got my text over here in a text file, and you could import anything from Word or whatever, and I'm just going to highlight a bunch of text like that and copy it onto my clipboard, and I'm going to paste it in to the book here, and you'll notice that it has automatically populated a whole series of pages. Excuse me, I meant to do this here, there. So now I've got a section of a book with 3 pages of text. That's how hard it is to get text into a book. Okay? Not very challenging. If I'd like to, let's say on this particular page here, I'd like to insert a widget. I go up here to the top, there's a widget gallery, and I click on media like this, and I've created a placeholder for a media widget, and I can drag and shape it and size it, and there's all kinds of ways I can have the text wrap around it and so forth. And if I go over here to this videos here, and I drag in a video, you'll see that I just put a video in the movie, or in the book. And so there it is. That's putting a video in. If I'd like to, actually you can then resize this and set the wrap here. So I'm just going to click over here and create a wrap that looks more like that. So there's just text above and below. If you want to put an audio file in, I mean, you can go here and pick another media file. Maybe we'll put this over here like this, and I'll go to my file manager here. Excuse me, desktop, and audio file, and I'll drag in an audio file. And so you'll see this is It just optimized it, and I now have an audio file that looks like this, and you can play around with a little bit. I can make it a scrubber bar like that. You'll see that there's space for me to add text above and below it, but basically this now plays as an audio file.
Back up real quick. Was that the same widget for audio, or
yeah,
it recognizes which kind of media you've dropped in?
Yeah, the question is, was that the same widget? Ironically, you know, there's always this multiple ways to do anything. You actually, if you want to bring in something in, you can just drag it in. You don't even have to open up the widget builder. And again, here.
But with the widgets, builder, you control over the display of that file. You know, like if you wanted to associate that sound file with an image.
Oh yeah, you can. You can actually have an image file here. And in this particular case, I can come down here and I could drag a image in like this. So this is actually an image file that stands in for an audio, in which case you'd want to, you know, give some indication to the user that this is not just a picture, but it's a picture that triggers a video.
How would you do that? How would you communicate to the...
Well, the question is, how would you do that? You know, you can, for example, add an explanation. I mean, I could take a text box here and move it over here, and I'm going to make it causes wrap. So now I've got a blank spot, and I could type in here, click to play audio, like that. And you have shapes you can add. So I could take an arrow like this, and add an arrow, and I could change it to look like that, and got it going the wrong way, so we'll turn it around like this. So I mean, there's lots of things like that, and you know, you're starting to get into some of the questions as to the style and the look and so forth. By the way, each of these templates has with it kind of a look. So this is the most bare bones template. Okay, so if I close this file and I don't save it, I'm going to open up one that's a little bit more visual. So new from template chooser, I'm going to open up the photo book like this. And in this particular case, I'm going to, I still, I think, have that text on my clipboard, so now I just added 4 pages of text. But in this particular case, maybe on this page, I want to change the layout, I want it to be more visual, so by using this little drop-down arrow here, I'm going to click here, and now I'm going to make it a 1-column photo page, like that, and then I'm going to go to my file manager here, and I'm going to drag this image in here. I'm proud. My husband wants me to do my part. I have 4 books out on the home front, so I've had quite a good time in the archives. So you can, you know, you can change it. You can say, you know what, I really made a mistake, and you can go to edit, undo. You can undo drop. You can say, I actually undo layout. So it's pretty simple that way. If I wanted to add, let's say, a gallery of images here, I could click here, and now I've got kind of a placeholder for some gallery images, and I'm going to go to this thing here and select 4 images and drop them in. And now if we go back here, I like to have something called showing thumbnails at the bottom, so I just added those. Again, this is all style stuff. I'm going to move this here, and now you'll see that I've got a series of images. I can add text into each as a caption. I can, over here, I can change the order, like if I want this one to be the first one, I can drag it up like that. Now it's the first image. And that's pretty much it. So as you'll see, it's less a question of spending a lot of time in the lab actually building the book. It's more of a content question. There are various formats for things, like this is a section placeholder that looks like that. Here's one that's a section that begins this way. I can drag an image in like this. I can change this page here to make it, let's say, 3 photos and a little bit of text. And I can drag a different image into each photo, like this, and so forth. And again, I can go in and adjust the images. But it's a pretty simple matter. Then, when I'm ready to preview my book, I can click up here on Preview. Well, there's 2 ways I could preview. I could plug in an iPad, and in the original version of iBooks Author 1, that's the way you had to do it. But if you're running the latest version, you'll see that I can create a preview right here on my desktop. So this is a preview of my book. So I can sort of see how it's going. And I've found that when I'm working with teams of students, and I've assigned them to each write a chapter, all the work happens long before we get to the lab. They're busy working on content. When we get to the lab, it's pretty drag and drop. Some of the other things we mentioned, let me get out of there. Intro media, if you'd like your book to open up with like a video or an audio, you can actually, you can drag a video in here. So our book will launch with Angry Birds. You'll see there's a glossary. I talked a little bit about that, but if I go to a page with some text here, I can highlight a word and go to Add Term, and I can now go to the glossary and I can add a definition of a groundhog. There, just did it. And I could even paste a picture of an image in. I could, let's say, make fill another term. I could add as a term, go to the glossary and define fill. And I could actually take groundhog and make groundhog a related term to fill. Isn't it Puxatawny fill? So now in the context of looking at the iBook, we have glossaries with images. Let's say if I had an image of a groundhog here. I don't have one, but let's take image and we'll drag that in so I can actually have a definition with an image as part of a glossary. A little earlier I showed you how to add a question. So for example, if I want to add a review question in right here, I can do that. And in this particular case, I can look at the type of question. So I could have a oh, excuse me, wrong spot. Interaction. Over there. Okay, we're pausing while I remember what I want to say. Yes, so you can change the type of question. In this particular case, I can have a multiple choice, a drag to label a target, drag thumbnails. There's all sorts of things I can do. So I can have different types of questions. Okay, and so I think I'm going to stop there. Hopefully I've given you enough information so that you can, first of all, see what the various types of widgets are, and secondly, get a little bit of an indication as to what can be done in an iBook. And third, see that iBooks Author is a pretty accessible program. I'd like to close by showing you a website that I've created, which has a lot of resources for iBooks Author. It's called Get Started with iBooks Author, and we will add a URL to the video so you'll be able to see what that is. In this particular thing, website, I've got some video tutorials. These are actually little videos that I shot for my students explaining how to do various things in iBooks Author. I've got some indication as to the workflow. This deals with the types of file formats that you want to save images as, videos and so forth. A little bit on ways to share your book. I've got a whole series of resources that I think are rather valuable. And finally, a little bit as to how iBooks actually runs on a Mac desktop. So I hope you take advantage of our upcoming iBooks Author training class here at the University of Portland. I'd like to thank the tech department for making this all possible.
Thank you, Peter.
The end. So the questions come up, what do you do with kind of the challenge of creating your own videos and so forth. One of the things that I've had my students do is actually, instead of creating their own videos, I've had them embed YouTube videos into their iBooks that they're working on. So in this particular case, this is a little bit of a video that I have loaded onto YouTube. And it's actually an instructional video. And if I go up here and just get the URL and highlight it and copy it to my clipboard, I'm going to go over to this website that I've got on getting started with iBooks Author, and I'm going to go to Resources, and I'm going to scroll down here to iBooks Generator. Now, iBooks Generator, like Bookery, is another one of these second-party ways to create a widget. So if I click on it, this allows you to embed a YouTube video, a Vimeo video, or a Google map and turn it into a widget. So I've still got that YouTube video URL, and I'm going to paste it into this spot here. Now the interesting thing, this is actually made, this generator's developed in France somewhere, because if you click into it, it all turns into French. It took me a while to figure this out, but it's only designed to work with an HTTP address, and YouTube's now gone to HTTPS. So I have to just get rid of that S, which I just did, and now I'm going to generate a widget. And so that widget just downloaded, and if I go over here to iBooks Author, nope, that's not iBooks Author, this is iBooks Author, and I go to this page here, where there's currently not a widget, and go to my downloads, I can drag in this iBooks Author widget into my book. So just to review those steps, okay, I went to an existing YouTube video, I got the URL, I pasted it into iBooks Generator, taking the S out, downloaded the widget, and now I've got a video in my book. Now the other advantage to this is that there's essentially no file size to speak of here, because this isn't really the video. This is just a link to that video. So it means the size of my book is much smaller in terms of file size. The one downside, it means that anyone who's looking at the book on either a desktop or especially with an iPad would need access to the internet to view it.